Hello, warm welcome back. Sage here. You're watching 𝐊𝐴N TV live from the Sydney studio, and this is the last show of the day, the last trade. Let's get started with today's market closing commentary. And the Australian share market closed lower on Wednesday, weighed down by the sharp losses in energy, utilities and banking stock. The negativity prevailed in the market after Australia's major banks predicted sooner than expected rise in interest rates. And the Commonwealth Bank of Australia expects interest rising by the end of 2022, while ANZ expects the RBA to begin tightening rates in the second half of 2023 and to take the cash rate to 0.5% by the end of 2023. Westpac, however, estimates cash rate hikes by early 2023. And the ASX 200 ended lower by 43.70 points or 0.60% at 7,298.50. And earlier today, the index belled the day on a flat note, undermining firm cues from Wall Street, which closed higher in the overnight trade. And the market width indicating the overall strength was weak, with 9 of 11 sectors ending in the red. The healthcare sector was the top loser, falling 1.38. Energy, utilities, consumer staples, financials, industrials, A-REIT and consumer discretionary also reeling under the selling pressure. And on the other hand, information technology was the top performer, with 1.1% gains, tracking the overnight gains in the US counterparts. Materials sector also closed higher by 0.77%. And all the big four lenders, Westpac Banking Corp, Commonwealth Bank of Australia, Australia and New Zealand Banking Group Limited and the National Australia Bank Limited, ended lower. And the concerns over the interest rate hikes have left the banking stocks jittery. However, the RBA, in a fresh communication, reaffirmed that it does not expect to start lifting the cash rates until 2024. At the earliest, in its own words. In the last policy meeting in June, the RBA kept its monetary policy unchanged, with rates continuing to be at 0.1%, citing that inflation and wage pressures remained subdued despite recovery in the economy and employment. Let's now take a look at the shares that were in the news today. We'll begin with the shares of Aventus Group, who rose 0.65% to reach $3.11 Australian on strong portfolio valuations. The company's net valuation increased by 254 million Australian dollars to reach 2.3 billion Australian dollars as at June 2021. And this valuation uplift will reduce Aventus's gearing to the bottom of the range and will result in a substantial rise in net tangible assets per security. Next on the list is respiratory health management firm Respiri Limited announced the commencement of sales of wheezo across 570 plus pharmacies within the Sigma healthcare network Australia-wide. And as per the ASX announcement, Respiri has onboarded 14 pharmacy banner groups with a total pharmacy network across Australia of around 1,600 stores. Following the announcement, shares of the company rose 10% to reach 7.7 cents Australian. And now we'll take a short break. We'll be right back after this.
Hi, this is Andy Liu broadcasting from 𝐊𝐴N Media Studio in Australia, and I'll be hosting the new 𝐊𝐴N Wellness Show. The half-hour show will cover topics from how wellness as a concept has become even more significant during COVID, to how becoming vegan may improve your health, and much more. We are excited to showcase our live streaming show to our audience of millions overseas and in Australia. Tune in to 𝐊𝐴N TV and join me.
Welcome back. Good afternoon. Sage here. You're watching 𝐊𝐴N TV live from Sydney, and this is the last show of the day, the last trade. We were looking at the newsmakers from the ASX stock-listed companies, and the BetMakers Technology Group Limited announced that the company and its wholly owned subsidiary, BetMakers DNA Pty Ltd, have struck agreements to acquire the technology platform assets, databases and intellectual property of racing data company Form Cruncher Pty Limited and technology and intellectual property associated with the Swap Stakes betting product from the parent company of Swap Stakes Australia Pty Limited. And while Form Cruncher deals into racing event data, Swap Stakes is a wagering platform specifically developed to run sweepstakes on racing and sports events. Let's now look at some more trending updates. The shares of Washington H. Soul Pattinson and Company Limited extended gains, rising 6% to reach $32.35 Australian per share after the company struck a deal to buy Milton Corporation Limited. Washington aims to create a near $11 billion Australian dollar investment house to bolster its firepower to tap new asset classes, including global equities. It is offering $6 Australian per share in the deal, valuing Milton at 4.05 billion Australian dollars. And shares of Novovix Limited or Novonix Limited rose as much as 10.3% to reach $2.36 Australian, marking their biggest intraday percentage gain since the 28th of May 2021. The company stated it is under contract to purchase a second facility in Chattanooga, Tennessee, in order to expand its anode material business. And Novonix stated expansion plans will bring its total production capacity of anode materials to 10,000 tonnes per year and is expected to come online by 2023. The next company to make the news is shares of Adasol Technologies Limited gained as much as 3.4% to reach 91 cents. The aviation simulation developer has secured a new contract worth 3.6 million Australian dollars from Seychelles Civil Aviation Authority, or the SCAA, to modernise its air traffic management system. And under the contract, the company will completely replace the current air traffic management system of SCAA with Adasol's Aurora air traffic management system. And Adasol said contract is expected to be executed over a 24-month period. The next company to make the news is shares of Decmil Group or Decmil Group rose as much as 4.4% to reach 0.475 Australian dollars, marking their best session since the 18th of March 2021. The construction firm stated that it has secured contracts in energy and infrastructure sectors with combined revenue of about 47 million Australian dollars. And Decmil informed that roughly 400 million Australian dollars worth of work in hand has already been booked for the next fiscal year. Up next is the shares of West Wits Mining Limited gained as much as 8.86% to reach 8.6 cents. And the Gold Explorer has received an update from the Department of Mineral Resources, or DMRE, and Energy concerning the mining rights application for its Witwatersrand Basin project in South Africa. Magnetic Resources has reported that its Lady Julie project has delivered the best and most consistent shallow gold intersection to date, and the company is going to drill a further 13 holes to follow up this promising intersection and extend the mineralisation. And now we'll take a short break. We'll be right back after this.
This is Andy Liu broadcasting from 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞 Media Studio in Australia, and I'll be hosting the new 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞 Wellness Show. The half-hour show will cover topics from how wellness as a concept has become even more significant during COVID, to how becoming vegan may improve your health, and much more. We are excited to showcase our live streaming show to our audience of millions overseas and in Australia. Tune in to 𝐊𝐚 TV and join me.
A warm welcome back, viewers. This is Sage and you are watching 𝐊𝐚 TV live from Sydney, and this is the last show of the day, the last trade, and we were discussing the ASX listed stocks that were making the news today. Next up on the list is MMA Offshore Limited, who has informed the ASX that the Singapore International Arbitration Centre, or SIAC, has handed down its final award in Jebsen & Jensen Offshore Pte Ltd arbitration claim. Reacting to the news, the shares of MMA Offshore dropped 6.03% to 39 cents Australian. Winchester Energy Limited is the next company on the list. Shared today that the Blue Line rig in McLeod 1705 had reached a total depth of 7,835 feet. The rig recorded multiple strong oil and gas shows within a 50-foot interval, potentially expanding the oil field. Now we'll look over at the biopharma firms. Neuroscientific Biopharmaceuticals Limited has announced its partnership with the Linear Clinical Research for Phase 1 trials of 𝐬𝐴𝐺. And Linear Research is a Perth-based organisation and a market leader in this space. Metallica Minerals Limited is next. They've announced that metallurgical testing of the 2-tonne bulk sample acquired from the December 2020 drilling program has produced a high-quality silica sand product from its 100% owned Cape Flattery Silica Sand Project, or CFS. As per the company's statement, the metallurgical testing was completed by IHC Robbins at their Brisbane laboratory. And now we'll take a quick glance at the Asian markets. The Asian markets continue to trade higher, holding the opening gains, tracking from cues from Wall Street, which ended higher overnight. And Taiwan's weighted index is the top performer in the region, rising as much as 0.95%. It was followed by Hong Kong's Hang Seng with 0.7% gains. Japan's Nikkei is up 0.1%. Seoul's Kospi is trading higher by 0.3%, and Taiwan's weighted index has climbed 0.9%. China's Shanghai Composite is trading 0.1% higher, while New Zealand's benchmark S&P NZX 50 is up 0.4%. On Tuesday, Wall Street ended higher as investors shrugged off inflation worries, and the Dow Jones rose 0.2%, the S&P 500 gained 0.51%, and the Nasdaq Composite added 0.79%. Amazon shot up 1.49%, boosting the S&P 500 and Nasdaq as it entered the second day of its multi-billion-dollar online sales event, Prime Day. Well, now it's that time again. We'll take another short break. We'll be right back after this.
This is Andy Liu broadcasting from 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞 Media Studio in Australia, and I'll be hosting the new 𝐊𝐶𝐼NE Wellness Show. The half-hour show will cover topics from how wellness as a concept has become even more significant during COVID, to how becoming vegan may improve your health, and much more. We are excited to showcase our live streaming show to our audience of millions overseas and in Australia. Tune in to 𝐊𝐶INE TV and join me.
Hello, welcome back. Sage here. You're watching 𝐊𝐶INE TV live from Sydney, and this is the last show of the day, the last trade. And now let's take a look at some more important news from Australia that are beyond the markets. On the COVID front, Queensland's Chief Health Officer has informed the public that the timeframe for exposure to the Delta variant of the virus is seconds and not minutes. The higher risk of contraction is apparently the motivation for a push in harsher restrictions at the state's border with New South Wales. And as for Victoria, the opposite is occurring. Officials are finalising plans to further ease restrictions imposed during their recent lockdown. The announcement is expected following a drop in local case numbers, and only 2 locally acquired COVID-19 cases have been recorded in Victoria since last Friday. Moving forwards, it's expected that companies will be allowed to operate with 75% of their employees present in the office. Hospitality venues are set to shift to a 1 per 4 square metre density limit and a probable cap of around 300 people. And outdoors gatherings will be limited to groups of up to 50 people. Meanwhile, passengers from 2 flights between Australia and New Zealand have been instructed to undergo a COVID test and isolate after a traveller tested positive in Sydney after visiting Wellington. The Qantas flight to Wellington on Friday and the Air New Zealand flight to Sydney on Monday were added to a list of virus hotspots drawn up by the Australian authorities. This case forced New Zealand to suspend the quarantine-free travel to and from New South Wales for 3 days from midnight last night. And passengers are advised to get tested and self-isolate for 14 days, regardless of the result. And now we'll just take another short break. We'll be right back after this.
At 𝐊𝐶INE TV, we'll take you to the heart of the Australian equity market. We'll bring you breakthrough stories that highlight volatility, as well as tailwinds building across the length and breadth of markets. Whether space travel will gain momentum, while economies may gradually open amid vaccine rollouts. Our experts will share their timely inputs. So join us on this exciting journey of live streaming, financial and stock market news. 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐚 TV.
Welcome back, viewers. This is Sage. You're watching 𝐊𝐚𝐥 TV live from Sydney. This is the last show of the day, the last trade. And after the important market updates and trending news, let's now zoom our lens on the important economic announcements for today. The European Central Bank, or ECB, will hold a non-monetary policy meeting today, and the policymakers will focus on managing inflation as member states begin to reopen their economies more widely and economic activity picks up. The meeting will be followed by a speech by the ECB Vice President Luis de Guindos, which may set the direction for the euro-US dollar trade. In Asia, Japan released Coincident Indicator Index, which consists of a range of data, including factory output, employment and retail sales. The index of the Coincident Economic Indicators gained a preliminary 2.6 points from the previous month to 95.5 in April, the Cabinet Office said. And on the data front, market manufacturing and services PMI figures will be released by the US, UK and the Eurozone. The manufacturing and services PMI is an important indicator of business conditions and the overall economic condition of a country. And that's all for now in our report on the last trade. With our existing operations in Australia, New Zealand, UK and Canada, 𝐊𝐚 Media has launched its operations also in the US markets. And every day in our first show, the Global Market Updates, you can get the latest and important news of the US and UK markets from the overnight happenings. So on that note, I shall see you as close as possible to 10 a.m. for a live expert interview from the Sydney studio. Sage signing off.